Well, it appears there is none left to share.
Oh, well.
It's really sad when you have to let go of a character.
We've become a family. He's just a lovely man who brings so much to the Dougal character.
He's such an amazing man, the perfect Dougal. Seeing him die was a real heartbreaker.
It was sad to see Graham go.
No welcome for your beloved uncle.
Hugo!
I just love Graham in this role, and you love to hate Dougal. He's diabolical, but we love him.
We wrote to it. We added more scenes. There's a scene in episode 9 that's not in the book that is a callback to the deal that Claire and Dougal make in episode 114.
I'll wager you never told him about that, did you?
We wanted to call that back in 9
About my generous offer to you.
and add a scene with Graham and Katrina because they're so dynamic together on screen.
I can see that you still bear a grudge.
With Claire, he can't help, you know, just making little sly digs.
Your ego, your self-gratification drive your desires.
I do love my reflection. But make no mistake, lass. I love Scotland more.
This is what he's been living for, the Jacobite Rebellion.
But if you choose to fight with Clan Fraser, then you'll respect my orders without objection. If you can't abide to these terms, stick your men and be on your way.
Dougal wants to get onto the battlefield. And to do that, he reconciles with Jamie.
As you say.
There's a lot of family history there with Jamie's mother.
Where they differ is their tactics, how they're going to approach it. One of Dougal's weaknesses is his impatience.
All I hear is talk and more talk about fighting and war and being a soldier. But I don't see any action.
It's because they're not ready for action. They need more training.
I do think in this season there is a great deal more genuine affection for Jamie, which is reciprocated.
You're a lucky bastard.
It certainly is a very good way of building towards what eventually happens between them, because it's very sad.
I could put this in his tea now and give it to him.
Yeah, you ungrateful son of a bastard.
The lead up to it is where Claire is telling Jamie, you know, everything's lost, but it all still depends on Charles Stewart. If he were dead, this battle would not happen.
You filthy whoring witch.
He wants to kill Claire.
And you're nothing but a lying slut.
It's one of the toughest scenes for me to score. The emotion is so conflicted. It's not an action scene. It's a tragedy unfolding before your eyes. So for me, it was a matter of keeping the tension going and knowing when to release the tension.
Dougal, it's not what you think.
I wanted to create that feeling in the pit of your stomach, like something bad's gonna happen, something bad's gonna happen, something bad's gonna happen, but there's still the hope. Jamie's trying to talk him down. My approach was, I played a lot of dissonant, clustery, chordal string music leading up to the fight.
The murder of your brains.
No.
Dougal, you have to...
Shut your mouth.
And the strings are kind of like creeping up and creeping up and creeping up.
Easy now.
If you listen, I put a little sting on the sword when it hits the ground. The knife. Things that you're supposed to track as an audience member, and the score helps you, like, hey, beware of that. Beware of that.
La past anger.
He's kind of left with no option but to fight.
They rehearse every sequence. They go through everything with safety first. They walk through it all slowly in half speed. Then they have rubber weapons.
Stay down here.
It takes a lot of time to prepare, and then shooting all the little pieces.
Graham McTavish loves his fighting and certainly threw himself into that with great gusto.
I've done quite a bit of fighting in the past, so you rely on that to some extent. The specific training, I suppose, would be the fight beats that you learn.
So it's a block, yes, it's a straight block.
We practice them, we practice and practice and practice and practice, and the stunt guys were just amazing. Philip John, the director of the episode, he came up to me and he said, I'm always amazed. When you're doing it, you don't really hit them really hard. How you control yourself. And I said, Philip, it is quite literally exactly like when you were a child. Playing war with your friends. You never intentionally hurt them, but you made it look and feel real to you and your friends. And that's exactly what happens when you do these things.
You're tired, Dougal, cold and hungry. Leave now.
Once the fight actually starts, I approached it a little differently. I pulled back on the orchestra almost entirely, and I had this Scottish frame drum called a bowron. I had the bagpipe drone. I had a little taste of the Scottish snare drum. It had a military quality, but it was out of control. I decided to end the fight musically early. Once Dougal's on the ground, all the drums go away. The tension switches to an emotional tension. I found it more meaningful to kind of tell the audience it's over. Even though it's not, it's over. Because the tension now is watching one of your favorite characters die. Whether it's Jamie or Dougal, one of your favorite characters is going to die. And so the tension in the rhythm and the drums all goes away, and the strings come back.
In the book, Jamie succeeds in stabbing Dougal with the dirk that they've been struggling over.
For the show, it felt awkward visually and dramatically that Claire would have been just standing there watching during the whole thing.
Ron always wants Claire to be the badass. You know, it's this strong woman thing.
And one of the debates was, if my husband was being attacked and almost being killed, I would do something to help.
One thing we love about the book and about the show is that she rescues Jamie just as many times as he rescues her. He's saved her plenty of times recently, but we thought maybe we should give this to Claire. Matt and I pitched the idea that Claire be the one to kill Dougal, actually, not even in concert with Jamie. Our rule is kind of, if we feel it's dramatically sound, then we can go for it. We wouldn't violate Diana's characters. But if it's something that we can make a case for could really happen, if she thought Jamie was about to be killed, she would absolutely jump in there.
I think she feels that she will do anything to save Jamie.
Dougal was going to have the upper hand, and Claire was just going to kill him.
People got excited about it. Some people freaked out about it. No, it has to be Jamie.
There was obviously no way that was going to work here, because plainly if Dougal went for Claire, Jamie was going to go for him. You have to do that.
In the end, the network really felt that that was something that we needed to do the way that the book was. And we were okay in the end saying, Jamie can do it, because there's certainly nothing wrong with that.
We filmed it two different ways. We filmed it where Jamie kills Dougal all by himself, and Claire's in the background, and she's just standing there. And it felt awkward to have Claire be a passenger.
And we shot a version where she helps Jamie push the knife in the last instance into Dougal.
They sort of both do this together, so that was pretty cool, and I felt it was realistic, because she would have helped him. And then when the network saw that, I believe they were like, okay, this we can buy. You know, we didn't want her to do it alone and take it away from Jamie, but if the two of them do it together, there's something that feels right about this.
And it's just the final thrust. I think Jamie probably would have done it anyway. He had the upper hand. I was there as the producer. I co-wrote this episode. In my view, I think Jamie would have done it. I think Claire just couldn't help herself. She had to help her husband. And we wanted to show them bonded together.
It just felt like it was more the two of them, the urgency of the moment, and them operating as a team to sort of do even this terrible deed.
It's the most heinous thing. It really adds to the drama. They've only got, a short amount of time before the battle happens, before Rupert will let the rest of the clan know that they've done this thing. And I think it's a really clever way to bind Jamie and Claire together in this act, but also to separate them ultimately at the stones.
It kills Jamie as much as it kills Dougal. He does love Dougal, as angry as he gets at him and how many times he's had to go toe-to-toe with him. Dougal taught him how to fight.
I thank you, lad. Truly.
I think, interestingly, his greatest friend is also his greatest enemy, and that's Jamie. That's what makes their relationship so interesting. The person that he trusts and respects and admires is also the person that is most dangerous to him.
Sam does a great job of doing it, and I think he killed a little piece of himself when he had to kill his uncle. This is just the brutal world that they live in. You can't sit down and have a conversation. You can't ask to go to therapy together so that you can explain everything and tell someone, I love you, but I don't agree with you. That society, that culture, it was kill or be killed. And when the choice came down to it, sometimes you have to kill family, and he did.
I'm so sorry.